I once fell into a pile of bricks when I was a kid.
What?
In the start of 2016, a video would be uploaded to BuzzFeed's Blue channel titled The Mysterious Death of the Sunken Man. This video, hosted by Ryan Bergar and Brent Bennett, launched the beginning of a long-running series that will later claim the famous name BuzzFeed Unsolved in 2018. The subsequent new channel would amass nearly 1.5 billion views by the time it finished in 2021, along with its 5 million subscriber base. If you enjoy true crime or the supernatural, there's a chance you came across BuzzFeed Unsolved, as many videos would cross the million view mark and have a huge reach in viewership and continue climbing for years to come. How did all this happen? As Ryan would say, with that being said, let's get into it. It all started when Ryan would commute to work with Brian and have arguments about true crime and the paranormal. The topic would come up pretty frequently, with Ryan eventually getting the idea of creating a show out of it, as he didn't see anyone else looking into the topics. Ryan would record their audio for the first episode, consisting of him explaining the story of the Sunken Man, a mysterious man found on a beach in Australia. Ryan's boss suggested not only recording the audio, but putting themselves in the videos visually as well. After releasing a video on the slaughter at Hinterkaifeck Farm, Ryan would recover the death of Elisa Lam and go to the location of what is now called the Stay On Man Hotel in Los Angeles. The two would then go on to record and produce 6 more episodes, ranging from the death of Tupac and Biggie Smalls to the Zodiac Killer. Brent revealed to Ryan that he didn't want to continue with the show himself, which led Ryan to choose Shane Madej as the next co-host. Shane first appeared in the Secret Society of the Illuminati in late July 2016, just a mere 6 months after the first episode aired. Ryan and Shane were already friends by the time Ryan asked Shane to join, so the choice was front and clear, with Ryan having full confidence they would work great together. And Ryan was absolutely right. The bond formed between the duo only made the show that much more entertaining. By the time Shane joined, BuzzFeed wasn't entirely sure what to do with the series. The series wasn't pulling in huge numbers, but it was doing well on its own, which resulted in an interesting situation for BuzzFeed from a business standpoint. BuzzFeed was thinking of selling the whole franchise to TV and having Ryan pitch the idea without any guarantee that he would be cast at all, host or otherwise. The idea of a full 40-minute episode was brought up, and they followed through, producing the episode 3 Horrifying Cases of Ghosts and Demons. Had this episode not done well, the show as a whole would have been scrapped. Fortunately, however, the episode did well and went on to garner over 32 million views. With a lot of shows revolving around the paranormal or true crime, the people involved are usually heavy believers in their respective field, being Bigfoot, UFOs, or what have you. What made it Unsolved unique, though, was the duality between Ryan and Shane. Ryan, being a firm believer in the paranormal, related to the portion of the audience who also believed in everything paranormal. He, in every episode of Supernatural, would pose the same question, are ghosts real? Which became the main question the duo sought to answer in each episode of Supernatural. This, along with his tendencies to heavily react to things as simple as a door creaking or a piece of dust floating through the air, showed his perspective on the topics covered. Fans who followed Ryan on the Supernatural side were nicknamed the Bugaras. Shane, on the other hand, was the polar opposite of Ryan, being a firm believer in everything not supernatural, or a ghoul atheist as Ryan would put it. Fans who joined Shane on the Supernatural side were named the Shaniacs. As Ryan would say, quote, I think the two opposing parties have made Unsolved what it is, because despite having a different belief system, they still get along and respect each other. There's a fun, friendly, back and forth banter that kind of mirrors what we have on the show. End quote. The amount of topics they covered in both their true crime and supernatural series was insane. If you want to see what I mean, here is a list of every topic they covered. Try to imagine every line you see here as a 20 to 30 minute episode. That is 124 episodes, which covers true crime, supernatural, sports conspiracies, and holiday specials respectively. During the episodes, I'm talking about supernatural in this case, Shane would toy with Ryan, scaring him and making noises to trick him. They would frequently make jokes and have a generally good time in the supposedly haunted places they traveled to. While in the various rooms, Ryan would use his spirit box, which was a device that would scan the airwaves around him and rapidly change channels, producing sounds that it picked up. This would result in possible communication from surrounding spirits to Ryan and Shane. While mostly static and occasional brief noises which vaguely sounded like English words.
What did you think that said? I think it said...
There were occasional legible outputs.
Anybody here that was here before this house was built? Spaghetti!
Spaghetti? Tell us your name. Apple tater?
Man, that was so fast. But it sounded like Spanish.
That sounded like hello.
Yeah, we're gonna need to hear more than 1 or 2 words in a row.
Do you hear that?
What the fuck?
Whoa!
Yo, that was fucking crazy.
Shane absolutely despised the spirit box, threatening to break it on multiple occasions. More on that later. Besides the spirit box, they would also use things like static and thermal cams, which might have made Ryan poo his pants at one point.
Right now I'm talking to the gentleman who got crushed in this door. If you're here still, please show yourself. I'm not seeing it, just light bulbs and shit. Not seeing anything, not seeing anything. Scanning.
Did you see something?
Look at this, it's just a light, but it looks like someone looking out. Does that not?
Yeah, it does.
Holy shit, dude, that
like
scared,
a human being staring at
the
you.
holy shit out of me.
Along with sound recorders and more to try and pick up on as much evidence as they could with varying results. When they weren't looking for ghosts or figuring out a murder case, they were hanging out together and answering questions the community had. After every episode about true crime and supernatural, they had a postmortem video about the previous episode where fans could comment things about the video, ask questions about the case, or share their theories. This allowed for a lot of community involvement, which made the series feel a lot more real in a sense. In addition, Shane would also include a segment at the end of some of the postmortems called the Hot Doggo, which was an animated portion of the video created by Shane. This was sparked after Shane asked Ryan to animate a skateboarding hot dog at the end of one of the episodes. The postmortem would sometimes turn into a roast mortem, where Ryan and Shane would react to fans' social media posts roasting the episode in question. This segment would later change into the Toastmortem in light of the coronavirus pandemic. This segment unfortunately or fortunately didn't last long, and would only appear in postmortems until September 2018. In 2021, Ryan and Shane announced the end to Unsolved, saying that true crime would end first with supernatural following suit. After true crime ended with them covering the death of Alfred Lowenstein, they would move on to the final episodes of Unsolved being supernatural. On November 19th, 2021, they would release the final episode, The Return to the Sally House. This was the sequel to the video that saved the series from the start, that being their initial visit to the Sally House. The nearly hour-long video encapsulated the entire series as a whole, ending it off once and for all. After Ryan and Shane spent the night alone in the house, they walked out for the last time. Hey, didn't I say something about Shane wanting to break the spirit box? Whatever happened to that? Ah, right. Well, that's the end of the episode, and the series for that matter. BuzzFeed Unsolved was a one-of-a-kind show that I don't think could be replicated with the same entertainment value and production. Ryan and Shane made the series phenomenal and showed the multiple perspectives you could have while watching a show about true crime and supernatural. Thank you, Ryan, Shane, the producers, the editors, everyone. If you worked on BuzzFeed Unsolved or contributed to it, thank you. Thank you for making something spectacular, something millions of people around the world can enjoy and gather around to watch. Whether you were a Bugara, a Shaniac, or somewhere in between trying to figure out the question, are ghosts real, we can all come together and agree that was one heck of a ride. But one thing is for certain, whether Ryan and Shane will continue being the ghoul boys we know and love, or they'll kill each other trying to make apple taters, all of those questions will remain unsolved. Come on, you had to have seen that ending coming. Look, seriously, I had to. Huge thanks to Ryan, Shane, and everyone else who contributed to the show. I loved watching it as everyone else did. This video wouldn't have been possible without the documentary the Unsolved crew made after the series ended. I urge you to watch the video to truly appreciate the level of detail and care they put into the whole series. But yeah, can't wait to see what you guys do in the future with the watch or whatever you plan on doing. Just keep eating you. Thanks.